Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. All together, please. Om Jnana Timirandasya Ganandana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Didati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yukta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Prijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padang Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karana Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapcha Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavanishwari Vishabhana Sutadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasudi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So today is appearance day of Ganga Devi and Ganga Mata Goswamini. We're going to discuss them, as well as the disappearance day of Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan, a great acharya in our line. So I'll read the Bhagavatam verse, and then you'll repeat the word for word. Then we'll read the purport and have a short comment on that, and then we'll discuss these great personalities. So the verse isn't on the board, right? So I'll just read it. 14, right? Yeah. Kriyayam nivartayam manayam ata kale pya uttaya yadinam abhichakshita tahi vashapati prakritina stana manasa tasma aisha aishate swasti syad vasta te sarvata iti. Please repeat. Kriyanam, the activities of worshipping the Lord, or performing ritualistic ceremonies. Nirvartamanam, even without finishing. Antarale, at intervals in the middle. Api, although. Uttaya, repeatedly getting up. Yada, when. Enam, the deer calf. Abhichakshita, would see. Tahi vatva, at that time. Saha, he. Vashapati, Maharaj Bharat. Prakriti stena, happy. Manasya, within his mind. Tasmai, unto it. Ashishita asate, bestows benedictions. Swasti, all auspiciousness. Stat, let there be. Vasta, O my dear calf. te, unto you, sarvataha, in all respects, iti, thus. Translation, Srila Prabhupada. When Maharaj Bharat was actually worshipping the Lord, or was engaged in some ritualistic ceremony, although his activities were unfinished, he would sit still at intervals, get up, and see where the deer was. In this way, he would look for it, and when he could see that the deer was comfortably situated, his mind and heart would be very satisfied. And he would bestow his blessings upon the deer, saying, "My dear calf, may you be happy in all respects." Please repeat. When Maharaj Bharat was actually worshipping the Lord, or was engaged in some ritualistic ceremony, although his activities were unfinished, he would sit still at intervals, get up, and see where the deer was. In this way, he would look for it, and when he could see that the deer was comfortably situated, his mind and heart would be very satisfied, and he would bestow his blessing upon the deer, saying, "My dear calf, may you be happy in all respects." Purport, Srila Prabhupada. Because his attraction for the deer was so intense, Maharaj Bharat could not concentrate upon worshipping the Lord or performing his ritualistic ceremonies. Even though he was engaged in worshipping the deity, his mind was restless due to his inordinate affection. While trying to meditate, he would simply think of the deer, wondering where it had gone. In other words, if one's mind is distracted from worship, a mere show of worship will not be of any benefit. The fact that Maharaj Bharat had to get up at intervals to look for the deer was simply a sign that he had fallen down from the spiritual platform. Mukam karochi vachalam pangam laite grim yad kripa tamaham bande Sri Gurun dinatarinam kriyanam nivatyamanam anteralepi utaya yadhainam abhik chakshita thahi vava savashapati prakriti stena manasa tasmai aishita asate swasti tad vatsate sarvata iti. When Maharaj Bharat was actually worshipping the Lord, or was engaged in some ritualistic ceremony, although his activities were unfinished, he would still at intervals get up and see where the deer was. In this way he would look for it. And when he could see that the deer was comfortably situated, his mind and heart would be very satisfied, and he would bestow his blessing upon the deer, saying, "My dear calf, may you be happy in all respects." So, the message is very clear that mundane affection is a danger to the advancing transcendentalist. Maharaj Bharat, of course, the same thing there. Actually, we see at the beginning of the Gita, Arjuna, his affection for his family members was an obstacle in the execution of his duty. So Krishna corrected that. Your duty overwhelms or is more powerful or more important than your mundane affection. But mainly, that is one side, that is mundane morality, but actually Your real thing is to do your duty for the Supreme. Yajñātā kamanonyatra. So similarly here Maharaj Bharat, he has the soft heart of a devotee, right? 16th chapter of the Gita, Krishna explains what the devotee is. And he's non-envious, kind friend to everyone. This is the first quality. However, the demoniac person is envious, jealous. So much wealth do I have today, and I will get more according to my plans. He is my enemy and I have killed him. He is my enemy, I will kill him. I'm surrounded by aristocratic relatives. I will give in charity, and thus I will rejoice in my glory and wonderfulness. But the devotee is self-satisfied, and he is the well-wisher of all entities, even in the material world. So even though Maharaj Bharat, we see the message is, you should not become unduly materially affectionate. That does not mean that we have no affection, or we become stone-like, like the psychopath, no conscience, no feeling, as a result of sinful activity, lying, cheating, viciousness. The devotee is soft-hearted. He has concern for everyone, materially and spiritually. However, he very much understands that the priority is spiritual practice. Prabhupada said ultimately the highest realization is to save yourself from the material energy. Unless you save yourself, how you can save anybody else? If you're in the material ocean and you've not come to the shore of spiritual realization, how you can help people in the ocean? How you can throw them a lifeline if you yourself are drowning? However, at the same time, we can understand that we should not be impersonal. We see that with Srila Prabhupada. Ultimately, why was Srila Prabhupada so attractive? It wasn't because he was a learned pandit. We're going to hear about Baladev and Gangamata Goswamini. And it wasn't because he knew so many slokas and he was a good bhajan and he had a magnetic personality. Ultimately, it was because he was a wonderful personality full of love and compassion. And Prabhupada was once asked, how will we know who is your actual devotee, real devotee? So, very good question. Is it somebody who is learned? Is it somebody who is opulent? Is it this or that? And Prabhupada answered, always in that perfect way, realized manner. Prabhupada said, he'll be, or also she'll be, but he'll be a perfect gentleman. So ultimately that is the test of a spiritual personality. And that was the ultimate magnetism of Srila Prabhupada, that he was perfect personality. So Maharaj Bharat, he is advancing transcendentalist, and he has spent the greater earlier part of his life in ruling Bharat, and for the benefit of the praja, no doubt taking care of their material as well as spiritual welfare, because the material situation should be comfortable and opulent. Krishna solves the economic problem with one line in Bhagavad Gita. How do you have a good economy? Krishna says, Anyad Bhavan, you grow grain. Grow grain. grow good foodstuffs, then your economic problem is solved. Huh? If everyone has good healthy food, then what is the problem of the economy? Huh? But nowadays we have this artificial fiat currency, high interest rates, inflation, sucking the blood out of the people. Food is a commodity for profiteering instead of being made freely available. So Prabhupada wanted, I was listening to some addresses when Prabhupada arrived, and one of them, Prabhupada was arriving in Chicago, and in Chicago there had been a lot of crime, and the reporters met Prabhupada in the airport, and the subject in the newspapers was how to conquer crime. So Prabhupada said, yes, I see that you're discussing how to decrease crime here in Chicago, how you can overcome the bad behavior. Prabhupada said, very simple. He said earlier he had also been asked, very interestingly, what do you think about the moonshot? They're going to the moon. Prabhupada said, frankly, it's a waste of time and money. It's a useless endeavor. And if you want to overcome crime and all these problems, then you must Jai Shri Shri Gonitai Shri Guru Parampara Krishna Balaram Gomata Giri Govidan Shalagram Maharaj Radhashan Sundar Lalit Vishaka Ki Jai. If you want to overcome, then you must have mass Sankirtan, great meetings of Sankirtan, and mass distribution of Krishna Prasadam. So sometimes that talk is there recently. Should devotees be giving mass distribution? Prabhupada definitely said, yes. This is how Krishna consciousness can reach the general people. Sankirtan and Prasadam distribution. And if people are well fed and they are automatically becoming devotees by chanting and hearing the holy name, then automatically they will put aside bad behavior. Because the soul is naturally full of all good qualities. The soul is angsa of Krishna. Krishna is the reservoir of all good qualities. So here Maharaj Bharat and the Acharyas, in writing upon this fall down, actually, Prabhupada says he's already fallen down, explained that Maharaj Bharat was just on the lower edges of Bhava Bhakti. Bhava Bhakti is when one is practically overcome the material energy and he's becoming attached to Krishna. So Maharaj Bharat, the Acharyas have explained, was just on the fringes of this. And there is some discussion about the Acharyas in different commentaries. Did he deliberately become materially affectionate to the deer, or was it for the purpose of instructing us about the difficulties, the dangers of material affection, or was it an accidental fall down in the sense that it was a mistake? So either way, whichever it is an instruction, and it is put in the Bhagavatam for this purpose. And because once the soul reaches Ashakti, Bhava, that is the manifestation of the Swarup. One then serves Krishna in Prem Bhakti. So there's no fall down from that platform. So Bharat was on the edges of that situation. But the affection is, don't take the deer as your dear one, or else you will put aside your spiritual practice. Before you reach bhava bhakti, you must practice sadhana bhakti, which is vaidhi bhakti, regular devotion according to rules and regulations. And within vaidhi, you cultivate rag, which is attraction for the absolute truth. And then you will get rati, which is the seed of prema, attachment. And once that attachment is there, it's very progressive in your spiritual evolution. However, before that platform, you must be very discriminatory. You must pravittim cha nivrittim cha. You must know what is to be done and what is not to be done from Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. Or else Maya, and that is the job of Maya, to test the devotee. Maya will see how dedicated you are to Krishna. That is her job. And through the chastening and the testing of Maya, the devotee eventually gives up his attachment to Maya, to the material energy. And therefore we see later on, when Maharaj Bharat, he fell down and he was born, he became Jad Bharat. And he started from the same level of spirituality, but he remembered. Actually, he was born again as a deer. Because when he left the body, he was thinking, who will take care of this deer? My dear deer, now that I am not here. In the forest, there are so many lions and tigers, and they will make a banquet of my sweet one. Also, it's very interesting, also in the Ramayana, Sita Devi, right, told Marichi appeared as the golden deer. And Sita said, oh look Ram, bring that beautiful creature. And then so much problem. So these are instructions. Of course, there's no fault in these personalities. It is for our instruction these leelas are taking place. And then they are placed in the Bhagavatam. So we should have compassion and good feelings for all living entities. But we should never be distracted from spiritual practice. That's our prime duty. And we shouldn't see them mutually exclusive, because Lord Chaitanya, he has given the duty to devotees to para upakara, to do good to others. We're not impersonalist, we're not voidist, thinking it's all Maya. No, it is an illusion, but there are real living entities. And we have a duty to them. And if we give Krishna consciousness, taking all risk, then Krishna's blessing is upon us. So we have to understand all points. We don't want to become impersonal. Then you cannot attract the mercy of Krishna. Krishna is attracted to the purity of a devotee. And if a devotee becomes hard-hearted and impersonal and self-involved, then how is that attractive to Krishna? So we have to practice compassion, but ultimately from the realization of transcendence, that real compassion is to give people Krishna consciousness. A life lived without Krishna consciousness is useless. You remain in the cycle of birth and death. So, the real compassion is to give people the Bhakti Lata Beach. Then you are the true guru of the person. If you can turn the soul to Krishna then that is the greatest charity. Another point is here, the deer is a child, right? I was looking at recently, about a month ago, there was a pig in Vrindavan, big fat one, and it had about a dozen little children. So these little children, even of a pig, look cute. And a deer, even small children, they're cute, right? Oh, what a nice little child. Especially the Indian ladies, they love babies. Oh, what a lovely child, pinch the cheek. So, but this is the trick of Maya ultimately, right? So that the parents, the pig parents or the human parents think, oh, they have put all their affection on this cute living entity that has suddenly appeared in their family circle. But we saw in Rishabdev's teaching that you can become father or mother, no problem. Have natural affection for your children, but you should use that natural affection to give them Krishna consciousness. Guru Nyasat, Pita Nyasat. This is the final verse of the teachings in the chapters about Lord Rishabdev. You should not become a king, a father, a guru, if you cannot rescue your dependents from the cycle of birth and death. Then you can have 100 children, 1,000,000 children, no problem. But you should make sure that they are being rescued. You have a duty not just to fill their belly, but to awaken their heart to Krishna consciousness, to spiritual life. And in Kali Yuga, that means give them prasad and chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So if the government encourages Sankirtan Yagya and the mass distribution of prasadam, then human society will naturally become more harmonious. If you just talk two sides of the coin, should we become more liberal or become more strict with criminals, then that is useless. The only solution is spirituality. And spirituality is not pie in the sky. There is a science. And if people take sumptuous, purified foodstuffs that are imbibed with spiritual potency, and if they chant the holy name, then they will naturally awaken to spiritual life. So, today is the appearance day of Ganga Devi. So, I think you all know the story. Sutala, Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Rasatala, Mahatala, Talatala, Patala, the 7 lower planetary system. Vamana appeared and asked for 3 steps of land to Bali Maharaj. Sukracharya was his guru. And Sukracharya said, this is Vishnu. He's asking for 3 steps of land. Vamana was also a young boy appearing, very attractive. 3 steps of land. Why 3 steps of land? Because that is all that's really needed. 3 steps of land you can take rest in. That's all you need to take rest. So, illustrating the point. But Bali was so attracted. In his heart he was awoken spiritually. He said, yes, take 3 steps. No problem. Sukracharya. And also we know the daughter of Sukracharya was there. So Vamana took his first step down to Patala in the lower planetary systems. Then he took his second step and cracked the shell of the universe, and the Ganga Devi came through. So then he said, everybody was transformed. You promised me 3 steps of land for my own possession. And now I've gone all the way down to the lower planetary system and the upper planetary system. Where's the 3rd step? So Bali Maharaj purchased the Lord by saying, you can put that on my head. So that is also very instructional. We should give everything, akinchana niskinchana. Devotee, he has no sense of personal possession, nor does he want anything in this material world. So Bali Maharaj, he is there now. And Vamana purchased the Lord. Now Vamana Dev is the doorkeeper there. He has the association of Bali Maharaj. And he will become the next Indra. The Indras change along with the Manus and so on. So, interesting to note, you may not know, that Sukracharya's daughter was there. Sukracharya is the guru of the Daityas, the demons, the Asuras. So he was rejected by Bali. And Sukracharya thought, look, he has rejected his guru, so now he has lost everything. And Sukracharya's daughter was attracted to Vamana, such a beautiful young Brahmin boy, that her maternal affection became there. But at the same time, she was angry to see how her father had been put in such a rejected condition. So she had this attitude of parental affection towards Vamana, but also a poisonous feeling. So she became born in Krishna Leela as whom? Putana, yes. But Krishna took her breast and sucked the poison out. And Putana was purified. And then she attained Vatsalya Bhav. That was her reaction upon the darshan of Krishna in the form of... So yes, we may have so many problems, but Krishna can purify everything. We just have to have the attitude of attraction to Krishna. But you should also know, actually, Ganga Devi, of course, doesn't just appear through the causal ocean, cracking the universe. The universe, we are explained in the Bhagavatam, has a shell of earth, then a shell of water, so on and so forth, melt in the art, Panchamahabhutas, melting into the Pradhan. But Ganga Devi, Jai Vijay made a very nice book explaining the ultimate source of the Ganga Devi, and that is Narada Muni. He had been trained in the proper singing of the ragas. There's a story in the book there. He said once Narada Muni, he was singing the ragas. He's a very great singer. He can sing very perfectly. But one time he went to a region, and he saw all these beautiful women, but they were all distorted. So he asked the devotees there, what happened? He said, these are the raginis. There are different rags and 10 talas and different rags based on that. But you've been singing all the rags imperfectly, and because of your potency, you've distorted these raginis. To Narada Muni, he took instruction in how to perfectly sing the rags with the proper bhav. And then one day he went to Golok, and Radha and Krishna were sitting there, surrounded by their devotees, Radha Govind, Prastalibe Sayamano, and out of ecstasy, he started to sing beautiful ragas that evoke the madhurya bhav, the conjugal loving feelings between Radha and Krishna. And he became completely immersed in singing them. He'd take it perfectly. And then as he opened his eyes, he saw the tears of Radha and Krishna had formed a stream. And that is the origin, and then formed into Ganga Devi. So Ganga Devi is Manjari, formed out of the tears of Radha and Krishna. So, Ganga Devi should be every inch. As she comes down, she lands on the earth. It's explained in the Bhagavatam that mystically there are mystic carriers of Ganga Devi directing Ganga Devi through the universe around Mount Meru, and lands upon the head of Lord Shiva, catches in his hair, and then runs on different sides of the Bhumandala system. And our Ganga Devi here is one of those tributaries. So Ganga Devi, every inch of her manifestation upon the earth planet is worshipable. But this comes back to the earlier point. You can't eat nuts and bolts. People now are building factories. They think economic development, motor cars, nuts and bolts. But you can only eat nuts and raisins, not nuts and bolts. Should grow food. Then what is the point of nuts and bolts when you can grow nuts and raisins and nice fruit and nice food? But if the Ganga Devi, which is a blessing upon the whole of the planet, is polluted, then the land becomes polluted, the food becomes polluted. All because of madness, thinking that if there's factories, then everything will be perfect. Actually, these factories only benefit the super rich anyway. Everyone else is worked to death and taxed to death. And so we have a terrible condition where people don't have enough food in their belly. But Ganga Devi is ready to purify the whole universe and grow grains and everything perfectly. But that, we come back to the earlier point. You cannot, if your people are greedy for useless material things, they're becoming affectionate not to the deer, but the plasma TV. If that becomes the goal of their life, then everything becomes disjointed, distorted. And they get no satisfaction in this way, so then they take to drinking and drugs and crime. But if people are satisfied in their heart by realization of Krishna, then everything will be placated. So, one personality, we'll talk about, that's Ganga Devi, if I may. We'll talk now about Ganga Mata Goswamini. She was attracted to Krishna. Today is her appearance day. So I have a very wonderful book here that gives her life. So we'll go through it a little fast. Yes. She was actually the daughter of a big Vaishya king up in present-day Bangladesh, Puntia. And she was attracted from birth to Krishna Bhakti. So of course her father, Naresh Narayan, wanted to get her married. He had lots of land, that was his affection. Oh my God, my daughter's becoming a devotee. We'd better get her married, that's the solution. But she rejected that. And went to Vrindavan. And there she met Haridas Pandit, who was the pujari of Govindadev temple at the time, and she eventually took Diksha from him. His guru was Ananta Acharya, who in Krishna Lila is Sudevi. We hear from the Gaura Ganadesha Deepika. So she took Diksha from Haridas Pandit, whose guru was Sudevi. Haridas Pandit, the Goswami of the Govindadi temple, was the full manifestation of all good qualities, extremely learned and a perfect personality. So he gave Diksha. He was a little reluctant at first because Ganga Mata, she was called, her Diksha name was Sachi Devi. We'll explain how she got that earlier name later. And she was from the rich family and all that. So he was a bit nervous about initiating her. Is she really serious about spiritual practice? That is the duty of the guru. He shouldn't give Diksha willy-nilly. He should test the disciple. Is the disciple sincere? So, yes, he saw Ganga Mata was determined. Sachi Devi. So she was initiated. And after studying under him, then she was sent to do further bhajan at Radhakund. And she chanted 3 lakhs a day, they say. She was so determined. And she would circumambulate Govardhan once a day. And she subsisted by Madhukari. She was the daughter of a rich man, but she didn't accept any support. Rather, she went begging from door to door to get some morsel of food and chanted 3 lakhs a day. So after a year, Haridas Pandit saw Ganga Mata and said, look, in Puri, Purushottam Kshetra, the previous home of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is very much in disrepair. So I want you to go there and re-establish that place, because that very important place, Sadbhuj manifested in the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, of course. And that is where Govinda Acharya heard the commentary of Mahaprabhu on the Vedanta Sutra to Sarvabhauma. Sarvabhauma had taken Lord Chaitanya to his house near Puri because he thought, oh, this is a young sannyasi, very beautiful, but he's dancing and chanting. He's very sentimental. Same point. So I must make him fixed up so he doesn't become a victim of material affection. I must give him the understanding of Vedanta Sutra. So for 7 days, Sarvabhauma explained Vedanta Sutra. Sarvabhauma is actually the incarnation in Gaur Leela of Brihaspati. Brihaspati is the guru of the Devas, and Sukracharya the guru of the Daityas, the Asura. So anyway, he was immersed in impersonalism, so he was giving Shankarite commentary. For 7 days, Mahaprabhu listened, and Sarvabhauma thought, he's not making any comment or asking questions. Maybe he's not understanding. So he said, are you understanding this after 7 days? Have you got any question? You know. Mahaprabhu said, well, I can understand the original sutras, but your explanation, there's just no sense in it. So then he gave his commentary on the Vedanta Sutra. And